They've been standing on that corner for 2.5 hours. It's right around 8 p.m. on Monday, September 29th, 2025. And large groups of involuntarily celibate male residents of this building are constantly standing on the street corners and sidewalks around the doorways and entranceways of this building. And they stay there for hours, like they don't leave. And people have to walk by them. And that is intimidating when you're walking past a large group of men who are blocking the sidewalk, shouting, laughing, getting disruptive towards the entire neighborhood. It causes problems for everyone involved, and the Greenville Group do absolutely nothing about this. The reason that these large groups of involuntarily celibate men, a number of them are sex offenders, a lot of them don't have jobs, they are, standing on the street corners at 2 p.m. every day, blasting music from their ghetto blaster portable music devices, standing on the street corners. It's because they have problems with women. I'm one of the very few women who live in this building, and the only Caucasian female that lives in this building, and that's a fact. And they just don't like women who don't look like them. They've got issues with women of other ethnicities and races, and that's a fact. These are a large group of BLM activists that are really just low life, no life sex offenders who get paid to be perverted. Basically, they claim that being perverted is a disability, and that's where their money comes from, evidently. Or maybe their money comes from BLM for just hate stalking women, because that's what BLM verifiably embezzles millions of dollars of donor funds on perving and creeping and hiring hookers and strippers. And that's a fact that has been documented in several documentaries recently put out by various media outlets. So I have barely left my unit today. Today's Monday. I had some work-related obligations to do. I don't interact with the low-life trash in this building. I don't talk to them. I don't go near anyone. If I see somebody coming towards me, I literally go in the other direction. I turn around and I step out of the way. I go into the stairwell. I step out into a different hallway. I just make sure I'm not around them, because they tend to be very aggressive and behaviorally disturbed, and they get in your face for absolutely no reason whatsoever. It's like 99% men in that building across the street. And even in this building, there's only one other female on this floor. The rest of it are men. I don't even know if there are any females living on the floor below this one. There might be one or two. None of them are Caucasian. Most of them are, I think, also Latino or African American. And it's just a bunch of sex offender BLM activists who don't like women and have issues with Asian and Caucasian women very specifically and obviously. So what they're doing right now, and what they do when they stand on the street corners and get really loud and disruptive, is they're celebrating the fact that they somehow managed to get the property manager or the office staff to take some kind of action against my tenancy. So I'm going to say this. They've been doing this for years. It has never worked. The Greenville Group has an extensive 5-year history of repeated failed attempts at taking court action against my tenancy, and none of it has ever worked, because none of it has ever been legally valid. And now they're trying again. The only two things that I can pinpoint that they might have a case for, they don't actually have a case for. They can't, unless they are going to dox their own prejudice, discrimination, and retaliatory, unfair and deceptive business practices towards my tenancy. When a landlord deliberately targets you and holds you to standards that are different than the standards that they hold for the rest of their tenant population, you can sue them for a lot of money plus triple damages for prejudice, discrimination, retaliation, and unfair and deceptive business practices. So while the idiots at the Greenville Group, who are too stupid to figure out that they have filed 5 failed court cases against my tenancy in the last 5 years, all of them have failed. They reached an agreement with me last November because they could not afford to continue to litigate a case where they were claiming I owed them money, but then I was claiming I did not owe them money because they had failed to make repairs for years in this unit. And that was a fact that was verifiable by multiple criminal lawsuits brought against the Greenville Group between 2021 and 2025 by the Inspectional Services Department. So that case, I probably eventually would have won had I continued to litigate that case, and they did not want to continue to litigate that case, which is why it was settled. However, now they're trying to take me to court again based on the screaming and shouting and disruptive behavior of the no life, low life, scumbag, trash, sex offender pigs out on the street tonight. They have the property manager in their pocket. They have the property manager is a BLM activist, and you've got the BLM activist standing on the street corners asking for my head on a platter. So they have 5 failed court cases against me. None of them have worked out for them, and that's why I'm still here, because they are stupid and their attorneys are greedy and just want to make a buck. So their attorneys will take any case that they think might possibly potentially work out for them, and they haven't. Because when you lie, your court cases don't hold water, and then you spend thousands of dollars on attorneys' fees and legal court filing fees, and you have nothing to show for it. So if they try to do this again, it's gonna fail. 1,000,000% guaranteed. What they're trying to do right now is so prejudicial, discriminatory, and constitutes unfair and deceptive business practices as well as retaliation that they're going to lose. Sooner or later, they would lose this case as well. What they're trying to do is claim that I'm somehow disrupting other tenants or harassing other tenants. Kind of hard to do when I barely leave my unit unless I physically have to go to work or meet friends or be with my family outside of this building. There's constant problems with the water to this tap, to my shower, to my bathroom tap. Obvious surveillance devices that are constantly being used in my bathroom, so that every single time I go into my bathroom, including earlier today when I was trying to quietly use the toilet, there's some violent psycho who accesses the vacant, unrented premises of the bathroom of 78 and becomes violent and disruptive against the wall behind my toilet. I actually spent an hour and a half sitting in my bathroom this afternoon just to see if somebody was legitimately using the bathroom behind this wall. Nobody was legitimately using the bathroom behind that wall. What that person was doing is doxing the fact that they're an obsessive sex offender psychopath, and they kept smacking the wall behind my toilet when I was sitting on that toilet for an hour and a half, not using it, just sending emails and looking at my phone and making phone calls, because once again, I was trying to figure out if somebody was actually living in that unit in the bathroom of 78. Nobody is. The only noise and signs of occupancy were the same psychopath, sex offender, and psycho trash named Jasmine Irizarry, who is deliberately burning and propagating the same sickening, overpowering amounts of cigar and marijuana smoke this afternoon into my bathroom while I was sitting in my bathroom, as she has been doing from behind that wall for 11 years now. Irizarry seems to go back and forth between 76 directly below and the intermittently vacant, unrented premises of Unit 78. And because the Greenville Group are not legitimately renting Unit 78 or 76, there's a giant echoing hollow noise from below in 76 every time Jasmine Irizarry makes violent slamming and banging directly below my bed at 3 a.m. You can hear the banging echoing. It's like an echo chamber down there. There's obviously not a lot of furniture. Maybe somebody is like sleeping on the floor or something, but there's not any furniture that is muffling the slamming and banging from below in 76. The Greenville Group are embarrassingly stupid. So again, if they try to go to court and claim that I'm somehow violating an agreement or using too much water, that is circumstantial. And the fact that they're targeting my tenancy and trying to hold me to standards of usage and comportment that they are not requiring of any other tenant is a court case in itself that I can file against them. And I have a much stronger case against them right now than they do against me. So the low-life trash that gather in large numbers on the street corner because they're mentally disturbed, hate-stalking, male reject, sex offender trash, they always celebrate way too early. And at the end of the day, they have nothing to celebrate because they lost a long time ago. And that's a fact.